Good afternoon or good evening. It's that time of the day. I just decided to hop on here and to make this quick video. Now, this is how bad it is. I've been working all morning, and I just got some time, and let me see if I can squeeze in this video. But we're not going to complain, because we pray to God and ask God for increase, and we ask God for more. So when the plate is overflowing and we need an extra plate, I have to say just thank you, Jesus, for what we have prayed for. That's why you have to be careful of what you actually pray for. If you see my eyes, they look tired. I've been sitting around my computer all morning, so just bear with me with regards to that. Let me see me put on my glasses if you look any better, but the sunlight on the face, oh, you know. Shout out to my hairdresser, big her up. Got this done in Jamaica. The girl is in Jamaica, get it? They understand the assignment. You just send them a pic. They tell you buy this hair and they get it done. Let me tell you, fair and reasonable, and it's still holding up. Let's give a little amount for the EmpoweredRN merch. If you're interested in merchandise, let me know. We have that working on too. So I'm gonna hop on here and talk about, I mentioned in the other video that I'll speak about my practical nurses. I did start something centered around the practical nurses in getting opportunities for them. I am just going to be a bit transparent with regards to that. I know many of you guys watch me and listen to the videos, but we have a lot of groundwork to cover with practical nursing in Jamaica, and that's where I'm going to start from. I'm not sure about the other Caribbean countries, but there's a lot to be covered down there. And we made put out some information, and I'm always going to be saying we, because the work that I'm doing, I know that I'm going to need help, and then based on the plate being overflowing, I'm going to require assistance, and I'm going to require help with regards to that. Now, I did mention that I had issued something stating that we needed practical nurses, and we started a program with regards to that. However, when we started the program, there were a lot of issues facing us and going against us that were on or not preconceived. There was a need, and there was something that was required for you guys, but when we started, it was just a bad time. And as such, no emails or anything were sent out, because I like to give people good news, not bad news. Many changes were taking place, and this was on the government side of things in terms of policies and approach. Now, I want to tell you guys that there are many places, not many places, but there are countries that will take you guys, especially from the Caribbean, with your qualifications and what you have. However, they need people, but based on policies that were put in when we started that process, a lot of shifting and regrouping and reshuffling had to be done. And when this was done, it required like less need at that time to be taking place, and which forced everything to be on pause. Now, one of the biggest issues that I found myself facing is that when we started looking at other places and countries, there are a lot of persons that say, yes, we need them, yes, we want them, but guess what? That I word, immigration. A lot of persons were saying immigration is our problem, taking too long. And then another big issue that I found problems with, even though for me, when I was in Jamaica, I taught practical nurses. I understand, I knew their curriculum, I looked at it, and when I looked at it, I had an understanding of it. But there are other countries that we decided to look at. When we looked at it, they were like, this can't be used. And that was a big setback again. And a little education that I want to give you guys, but we're still working, but it's going to take time. And I always tell persons, if you're moving to another country, it's not a quick fix. It takes time and effort, and anything that moves too quickly normally doesn't turn out really good or any better. Now, what I want to say to you guys is that a practical nurse in Jamaica is not equivalent to licensed practical nurses in many other first world countries. Let's take it back a bit to some countries that are closer to us. A licensed practical nurse in the United States is not equivalent to a practical nurse in Jamaica. And a licensed practical nurse in Canada is not equivalent to a practical nurse in Jamaica. So I want you guys to understand this. Now, a practical nurse in Jamaica is somebody who is unlicensed. If you did practical nursing in Jamaica and you did not sit an exam or get a pin or a number or be a part of a board or a certifying body, you are considered a practical nurse and you're not licensed. Now, for the individuals who are licensed in Jamaica, these are your nurses and your enrolled assistant nurses. Your nurses sit a certifying exam called the RENR. Your enrolled assistant nurses also sit an exam. I don't know what it is called, but when they sit that exam, they have to pass an exam and they also get a pin after they are finished. Those individuals are licensed. Now, a lot of persons have been reaching out to me because I don't just work with the practical nurses, I work with the international nurses also, and quite a number of persons have been saying that everything that we talk about is nurse, 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 nurse. I know it gets a bit annoying for persons, but guess what? Countries across the world that are first world countries that are having nursing shortage with their elderly population and their aging population need nurses. Your nurses are normally licensed, meaning that they have a license number and they're registered with a board of nursing. Now, with these countries realizing that they have a shortage of nurses, they have an aging population, they have created streams through their government and through immigration to make it easier for those nurses to come to their countries. That is why you have programs for the US, programs for Canada, programs for UK, programs for New Zealand, programs for Australia. The government streamlines it to make it easier to get them there. Now, if you're in recruitment and international nursing like myself, you have to understand that within the healthcare industry and with any job, it's all about labor, it's all about demand and supply. So these first world countries are in need of nurses, so that's a demand. Now, where are they going to get their supply from? They realize that their supply can be in their country and also outside of their country. They realize that this supply can also be sought from outside. So they create that supply to match the demand that they have, and that is why they streamline programs for nurses. Now, a nurse is easily sought after because many of our nurses either have a diploma or a university degree. University degree is accredited, means that it's internationally recognized, and being a nurse, it makes it universal. A nurse can leave from any country in the Caribbean. I need to stop saying just Jamaica because I know a lot of people watch me from all over. You can leave from any country in Jamaica, go work in Australia, go work in UK, go work in Canada, because that degree that she or he received was accredited and it's internationally recognized. So you can move from country to country because it's universal, and you have to do programs or do evaluations to make sure that your Bachelor's of Science degree matches that of any other country across the world. That is why you have different streamlined programs to various countries, because their education matches that to them. Now, with regards to the unlicensed practical nurses, no, you're not licensed. You don't have you guys may have a board, but it's not internationally recognized. So that creates a problem in getting opportunities streamlined for you for various places. There's one country that matches that of your curriculum, but however, they're going through a lot of shifting right now with policies and immigration in terms of pay and a lot of things. So a lot of things is placed on the back end right now, but the opportunity is there, but just not at the moment, and we have to be waiting. And I can say to you that licensed practical nursing in the US, and we're going to explain that, is not similar to a practical nursing in Jamaica. We use the term very wide in Jamaica, but it is not. A licensed practical nurse in the United States has to go training for, I think, 18 months or 2 years. And after she's finished, she sits something called the practical nursing exam, which is the NCLEX, like the NCLEX which the nurses take. So when those practical nurses are finished, they have a license. So if you're in your home country and you're a practical nurse and you don't have a license, and you hear of licensed practical nurse for US, licensed practical nurse for Canada, if you do not have a license before your name, the curriculum you do in Jamaica or any Caribbean country anywhere across the world is not equivalent to that. All right? And I want you to understand that a CNA in the US will be similar to that of a practical nurse in Jamaica, but it is not transferable. CNAs in the United States have to be trained in the United States, and they have to go through a board also. Their name is placed on a registry. The only way you can transfer here and work here is only if that you already did the training in the United States, and you did practicum in the United States, and you go to their school. They don't take anybody outside like that, so it is even not equivalent. CNAs in the US, they wear any colors, any scrub color, anything, depending on where they're working, but it may be similar to that of a practical nurse in Jamaica. But in terms of training, it is not, because CNA is a certified nursing aide, and then you have also the unlicensed, but they do not have a license, and practical nurses do not have a license. Do they have programs for practical nurses to be streamlined to the CNA program? No, I have not seen it, but if you see it, you can tell me about it in the comment section. You have to be trained in their country and then do an exam in their country, but you do not carry a license. Now, the LPN in Canada is not similar to practical nurses in Jamaica. LPN in Canada requires them to go to school in Canada also for practically 2 years and get a license. And I want you guys to understand that licensed before any name, such as licensed practical nurse, means that they have a license, they have a PIN number, and they're registered with a board of nursing. If you do not have licensed before practical nursing anywhere, it is not transferable. It's a different curriculum, different setting. Can practical nurses in Jamaica do the NCLEX? No. Practical nurse cannot do the NCLEX because they're not a registered nurse. You do not have a license, and you did not do like a diploma or a bachelor's of science in nursing. Can a practical nurse in any Caribbean, and I do stress Jamaica because I know the curriculum for Jamaica, I don't know the other countries' curriculum. Can a practical nurse in Jamaica do the licensed practical nurse exam, which is PN NCLEX in America? No, you're not licensed, you do not have a number, you do not have a board that governs you in terms of licensing. They may have a board, but it's not licensed. Now, my advice to anybody that does that program back home, there are countries that will take you, but those countries are on pause right now. One specific country, and that is on pause. A bit on pause right now. Still taking people, but at a slow pace. Things are changing. If you want more opportunities and wider access to opportunities globally, I'm not underestimating that program, practical nurses program, very good. There are so many opportunities you can do with it back home in your home country, Jamaica. But if you want to grow and get more opportunities, my advice to you is to go and get a training that will make you have a license. One thing that you can do is go back to school and get an enrolled assistant nurse. You can also become an RN. If you're going to go that route, you may have to do 4 years of nursing in Jamaica. If you're there in Jamaica, 4 years, because that's the route to become a nurse. We had diploma programs, but they cut them out. Now, enrolled assistant nurse in Jamaica wears white, just like the registered nurses in Jamaica. When you go to the different hospital settings and you see them, you cannot differentiate between an enrolled assistant nurse and a registered nurse unless you take that staff duty, which lists out all the duties, all the nurses there, their first and their last name, and you see RN and then you see EAN. Now, if the nurse decides, let me turn on my light, I look like, say, let me light come down, sorry. Now, if you decide, the only way you can differentiate an EAN from a registered nurse is when that EAN decides that he or she's going to wear their badge. They wear a green badge that signifies EAN. They are licensed and they have a board that governs them. That program lasts for 2 years and you can do it at a community college. Go and get it done. When you're an EAN in Jamaica, the EANs I've worked with them, I'm going to tell you, some of these EANs work even better than some of the RN them. They can run one, they're not supposed to, but they work very well. Their program is similar, but not so much to an RN. Many of them function like RN, but on paper they are not. EAN can take the licensed practical nurse exam, because an EAN is similar to that of a licensed practical nurse in the United States. The EAN can take the licensed practical nurse exam in Canada. Go back to school and get something that has weight, that has a license, and that has a board that governs and creates a certifying exam for you. EAN is done in Jamaica at many community colleges at a fair and a cheaper. I need to do research on much because I'm not going to spread any false narrative. And it's fair and it's accessible. Go back to school and do EAN, and you can get a pay similar to that. And I think they get the pay structure is near to that, not as much as near to it, but it's not far from the RN, right? Practical nurses in Jamaica can work in the hospital settings, and these will work as your care partners. You call them your care partners, or I remember what we used to call them sometimes. The ladies that wear the pink and white or the blue in the hospital setting. PCA, practical care, patient care assistant. So those are what your practical nurses can do. Or you can work in a nursing home or at a community center, or you can do your own thing and even become an entrepreneur and even run some facilities or open a daycare center or early childhood facility. But otherwise from that, if you want more opportunities and if you want wider access to opportunities such as what the nurses receive and the enrolled assistant nurses receive, go back to school and either get an RN and become either RN and go back to school and get your enrolled assistant nursing. Probably one of the colleges needs to sponsor me, like when I'm promoting the program. Go back to school and get one of that. And even if you become an enrolled assistant nurse, and even if you're a practical nurse in any hospital setting, the hospital may even pay for you to go back to school. When you're a practical nurse and when you're an enrolled assistant nurse, and even become an RN, and you just have to work for the hospital for a period of years. But let me repeat, when you become an enrolled assistant nurse, you can take the LPN exam that is in the United States, and you can take the LPN exam that is in Canada. If you want more information and you want more assistance, go in the comment section, look in my description. You can send me an email and we can talk further, and if you're interested for opportunities. And I made one other video speaking to the different schools. I know Portmore Community Colleges one. I don't know if it's EXCED does enroll assistant nursing, but you have to try and move up in order to get more access to opportunities that are global. All right, and that is my little piece of my video before the sun goes down right now. I'm going to get some work done. This is my life. But any other questions that you're interested in, and this is just my piece of advice to you guys to do that. Thank you so much for watching me and for tuning in. To my subscribers, my faithful community members, big up Sherry Spate, Legal Nurse Consulting, Divine. If you're a nurse and you want to build your personal brand, big ups to him. You can reach out to him. There are some other nurses. I may just drop their names when I'm editing this video, if I have the time to edit this video. And big up my community, those persons who are commenting and those who are watching. Thank you. And to the silent subscribers who just watch, smile and nod but can't press the like button and him not share, you know. Thank you for watching. It counts. Thank you for watching, and thank you for all the persons that are here. And guys, I'm going to drop my Telegram group right here. If you want access to opportunities and you want to reach out to me personally, access and perks to opportunities, jobs overseas, connecting with other international nurses and like-minded health professionals. And I'll be sharing a lot of opportunities in the Telegram group, because that's going to be a little closed section. I'm giving the option to you guys to join that. I have a newsletter coming up that we're going to be publishing monthly. Anything in regards to immigration, opportunities, jobs, that will be published in the newsletter. If you want to work with me or looking for opportunities for international workers, you can also send me an email at my business email, and we can talk from there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and we can talk further. What do you think about the information that I gave to you between the difference between practical nurses, licensed practical nurses, and RNs? What do you think? I'll see you guys in the comment section. Bye.